Death Stranding 2 is actually my favorite, my third favorite game ever made. It's in my top 3 of all time. Got a poster back there for my top 3 favorite games. I got Bloodborne, FF7, and Death Stranding. Absolutely love this game. Made me so happy to see that it's getting a sequel here, and it really looks interesting, right? It looks like they still have so much creative energy. It looks like they're still going to, just from the little I've seen, pour in the same amount of love, passion, and care into this game as the first one, right? Because that's the impression I get from Kojima, right? He doesn't make a game unless he really has something to say, unless he really has a story he's been burning to tell. I'm so glad I got those impressions from this one. Like, after the way the first game ended, right? Because the Death Stranding was over. There was no more timefall. They walked into the rain. Sam didn't age. BB left the pod. So, yeah, that's definitely her at the start. I wonder what direction they're going. It seems a lot darker, right? Like, a lot more dour. Like, should they not have connected? It's the consequences of Sam connecting everyone together to the UCA and rebuilding society that I guess this game's going to focus on. So there's definitely... Okay, so we're going like a frame-by-frame analysis of this, right? This shit blew my mind. So this statue looks like it's a part of the logo. That is the new company being introduced to us, right? That new organization. I forget which one. Drawbridges, we're going to see. Right, Bridges and then Drawbridges. Bridges with the old one. And this is, oh my god, you guys, I gotta go back here for a sec. Such a small thing, but something that meant so much to me personally is seeing that the classic tar streaks, the BT streaks from Death Stranding 1 being red here really reminded me of my other favorite game of all time, which is Final Fantasy VII, and more specifically the remake part 2 to that, Rebirth, having red coloring in its branding and in the word rebirth in the title, right? It also seems to be going in this dark direction, just like this game is, as suggested by the red coloring. So just a really cool coincidence I thought I'd point out there that really speaks to me a lot, right? Because my 2 favorite games, the follow-ups to them, which are coming up, have similar themes going on here and tones, which is crazy, right? Oh my goodness. And I wonder if the person singing this is one of the voice actors for the characters in game, or if it's just a singer of the song, because this is the theme from Death Stranding 1. Like, the moment I heard these 3 notes at the beginning, I knew exactly what it was. I lost my I'm still getting chills. I lost my marbles hearing BB's theme. So good. So good. Such a great way to get Death Stranding fans to jump up and down at the beginning of a trailer. Amazing. This trailer was, I'm just going to say right now, and I haven't seen it fully yet a second time, a masterpiece. 10 out of 10 trailer and a 10 out of 10 event. So I'm guessing it's a different vocalist for the song, right? It's probably just the vocalist, not a character in game, I'd imagine. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's a new... Like, what is this, right? Like, oh my god. Where are we now? There's... And it looks like... Do they have Audridex? Who are these guys? Are they the new terrorists in this game, right? Are these like the new mule/terrorists as part of this new organization? I mean, maybe they're working for Higgs. Maybe Higgs is back. I mean, he is back. We see him at the end of the trailer. It's confirmed Troy Baker's here. And they didn't kill him in the first one. Fragile just knocks him out. Oh my god, man. Can you imagine if they go the same route as Metal Gear Solid with Death Stranding, like they make games for years to come, as long as Kojima has that creative energy going and is willing to tell more stories here and really wants to tell more stories here? Can you imagine if, like, years from now, we're going to have as many Death Stranding games and projects as we have Metal Gear Solid projects? Like, that would be crazy. That would be... Oh man, a dream come true for me, and a story I would tell my children years from now, and grandchildren. This is your grandpa's favorite series ever, or one of them. So what does it say? Developed by Kojima Productions? That is definitely Lou, right? That is 100% Louise, I think. It's not confirmed, but I'm just gonna say it is confirmed, right? It 100% has to be her, because she exited the pod. Sam took her out of the pod at the end of the first game, and then they walk into the rain together, and it's this really beautiful, poignant ending. And again, man, Death Stranding is one of the few games where I was bawling like a baby at the end of it. I really was. Such a moving game for me. I'm so grateful for how moving that game was, and how much it resonated with me personally. So that is definitely Luis. Time has definitely passed, maybe 2 or 3 years. But what's interesting is Sam is really gray. And it doesn't look like he's aged naturally because of that grayness, which we're going to see at the end of the trailer. It looks like Timefall graying, but the Timefall ended at the end of the first game. That's Fragile. That's her. So her pod is still there, which is interesting. They kept it. And it's got the crypto biotes and everything. And they're definitely still in a private quarters area, it looks like. Hideo Kojima game, let's go. My man, my favorite game director, creator of all time, just because of this one game, Death Stranding. So yeah, it looks like she is inside of is she in an underground bunker type area? She is, right? Which I have to question because it seemed like the Death Stranding had ended at the end of the first game. And she's going up an elevator to leave her private quarters. It's being infiltrated by some folks. Yeah, okay, so she's in one of those prepper facilities. This is where we would... Yeah, this is where the delivery terminals would be. We would deliver our packages, complete the orders as Sam. And can I just say, watching this trailer, I love Fragile. I love all the characters in the Death Stranding universe, but I was so nervous that Norman Reedus, for whatever reason, wasn't able to come back. Because maybe with obligations with Walking Dead or other projects or what have you, and that this game would be us playing as Fragile, which, don't get me wrong, I would have been fine with, but I would have been so... A part of me, my soul would have been crushed if Sam wasn't a part of this in some way, because he is such an integral part of Death Stranding to me. It would be like having... It'd be like going from the first Star Wars to Empire Strikes Back or something, and Luke's like not the main character, or going from the first Final Fantasy 7 remake part to the second without Cloud being there anymore, right? That's how it would feel to me. And I'm just so glad that Sam eventually comes back at the end, and we're going to continue playing as Norman Reedus, because his character, I just resonated with his character so much. I loved the way his character was written and being able to play as him, and his performance was great too. I'm glad Sam's back. And I just love the vehicles in Death Stranding. Can I just say that too? It looks like we're gonna get this, like, a unicycle, I guess you could call it, like an energy unicycle. I love the vehicles and everything, and I'd imagine they're introducing more. Such a beautiful and cinematic game, and I'd imagine this second one is gonna be even crazier. So she gets shot, right? And at first I thought she died and she repatriated. And then you see BB inside the throat again, the iconic shot of BB repatriating herself. Like she usually does with Sam when they both die. There's a sad part here. Or Fragile. So somewhere, Sam entrusted Lou with Fragile for some reason, which led to the entirety of the beginning of this trailer happening. And I think that the soldiers who infiltrated the bunker where she was hiding are there for BB, are there for Lou, right? They want her for something. Because I think because she's special and we're trying to protect her in this game. And Sam needed to go and do something and give BB to Fragile, I'm assuming. And maybe, oh my god, maybe the game's going to be like we can play certain parts of it as Fragile, kind of like in MGS2. You play as Raiden, right? You go into the game thinking, okay, I mean, Snake's back, we're going to be playing as Snake, but a majority of it might be you're playing as Fragile, and there are parts where you play as Sam. Like, how sick would that be? I mean, the possibilities are endless. Like, they could definitely go a God of War Ragnarok direction with this / MGS2, where there are two characters you play as. So the pod's, this part really tripped me out. So the pod's broken. And... or no, it's turning red. Yes, too, I love it. This part gave me chills. And there's a BB materializing in there? Or was it always in there?
It's okay. No one should have to...
So this is the most interesting thing. There's a new player on the scene. Drawbridge, right? So I remember that right. And that's funny, right? Because the first organization in the first one is called Bridges, that Sam was working for to reconnect America. And in this game, we got Drawbridge, which I would assume are kind of an antagonist of some sort here. I think I get bad guy vibes from them, assuming they're the same people as the villains we just saw. Or maybe they're introducing a new organization Sam and Fragile are working with. I don't know. Both stick and rope to protect and connect together for tomorrow. Both stick and rope to protect and connect together for tomorrow. So they definitely sound very altruistic, right? Kind of like Bridges. Their motto seems to be for the betterment of humanity. So I'm assuming these are the good guys, or maybe they're the bad guys. But they had a good intention, but they had a bad way of going about that intention. Let's listen to this guy's speech again. So that's a cool logo too.
No one should have to suffer such loss.
And by the way, when this game comes out and I'm far enough along with my streaming and I unlock some new sub badges, that's definitely going to be one of the sub badges, because I love the logos in Death Stranding. They're definitely going to be sub badges. And there he is.
I meant it when I said I understand how you feel. But if you hold on to the sadness, it will weigh you down like an anchor.
So this is so cool. Like, I lost my shit here. I was honestly so relieved that Norman Reedus was back, that Sam was back. It's like I said earlier, you can't have a Death Stranding game without Sam. Like, he and Lou are the heart and soul of the game. Like I said, I would have been fine if it was just Fragile. Maybe Norman Reedus would have had some Walking Dead contracts and work there or something like that, so he couldn't return for it. But there he is in all his glory, the legend himself, the legendary Porter. And the thing that really tripped me out, right, is he has gray hair, even though Lou is like what she appears to be. Yeah, in the screen scrub, and she looks like she's around 3 or 4 years old, right? Or even 2. Maybe it seems like it's only been 2 or 3 years. And he's already really gray. And my immediate thought was it could be timefall, right? Because when you make contact with the timefall, you age. It accelerates your aging. But it seems to me that it is not that, because Death Stranding 1, at the end of it, the timefall was over. It was just regular rain. The Death Stranding had ended, right? So I'd imagine that, like, yeah, maybe it's just regular aging, but within 2 years, did he go fully gray? Like, maybe it's just that, and I'm looking too far into it. Or maybe it's stress. That could be a cooler explanation, right? There are always these really cool sciencey sort of explanations that Kojima and Co come up with for their games to explain certain behaviors and appearances and that kind of thing in their games, which I'm a fan of, right? Like Sam's whole phobia of touch, which was aphenphosmphobia, I believe, is what it was called. Super interesting stuff there. So it'd be cool if it was just like he's really stressed out and he went gray as a result.
It'll weigh you down like an anchor.
I wouldn't put it past them to make that the reason. And this shit blew my mind. Like, maybe we can traverse on water now on these huge ass ships. Right, like this is the new organization, Drawbridge.
Come meet my crew, Sam.
Ah, she's tearing up, so the chiral allergies are still there.
Time for you to hit the road and start a new journey.
God, this game is so incredibly, like, the character models look so good and so real.
It wasn't the UCA that made the final decision. It was APAC, a private corporation.
Oh my god. Wait.
UCA that made the.
And who is this? This is a new character?
It wasn't the UCA that made the final decision. It was APAC, a private corporation.
It wasn't the UCA that made the final decision. It was APAC, a private organization. So APAC is a new player here, and then there's Drawbridges as well, and I don't know how they fit into the equation together with this overarching narrative. And he mentions the UCA. And that guy definitely sounds like a villain. This is definitely a new character, I want to say. I don't recognize the voice. And he's saying the UCA didn't make the final decision, meaning it sounds like he's talking to Sam, or Fragile and Fragile maybe, like the two of them together, and telling them, he seems to be implying that the UCA did something that Sam and Fragile didn't like, right? And the end of the game kind of establishes that they're not on really good terms with the UCA either, right? Like Sam Like Denman, who is a part of the UCA, breaks Sam's cuffs, I think is what happens, and he disconnects him from the UCA, and Sam's off the radar because he wants to go back to doing his own thing. So even though he made connections with people, at the end of the day, he couldn't escape his nature, which was to be kind of a lone wolf, which I think was brilliant writing, right? Like, because in real life, you're not immediately just going to progress and completely leave who you are behind. You're still going to regress in some ways and hold on to certain parts of who you are. And Sam, at the end of that, even though he knew how to become closer to people, he's very complex, and I love that. Even though he knew how to become close, he ultimately decided to still remain on his lonesome and be reserved. And so he and Fragile, because I remember Fragile also wanted to go off and do her own thing at the end of the first one, are clearly out here doing their own thing, and they synced up together at some point, again, probably in the best interest of Luis. Like, they probably started getting chased, like Sam and Lou at the start of the game are probably being chased by this new organization. So maybe, like, I don't know, like the start of Ragnarok, right, where you're being chased by Freya, and Sam meets Fragile out in the wild, and he's like, yo, Fragile, this is happening. We gotta protect Lou, right? And Fragile's like down with it because she wanted to work with Sam at the end of the first one, but Sam didn't. So they're gonna work together, and they're away from the UCA, so they're not on good terms with them. UCA does something that leads to bad consequences, I'd imagine, and Sam and Fragile are not okay with it. New player comes onto the scene. Sam and Fragile are like, the UCA did that. That sucks. That's bad. And they're like, the UCA didn't do it. These guys did it. And these guys, whoever they are the new villains on the scene. And then imagine it's these folks.
So let love warm you.
This guy's creepy. And the moment it said, yeah, featuring Troy Baker, that makes me want to say this guy's Troy Baker. It has to be, right? He just grew out his hair for this one. Or the character in game grew out his hair. Higgs. Dude, his otter deck is so cool. That was badass. I love how quirky the Kojima villains are. Should we have connected? And that's what it ends with, right? Like the UCA, what I think now is that maybe the UCA didn't tell Sam the whole truth. Maybe they didn't give him the full picture of what would happen if he reconnected America. Maybe throughout the entirety of the first game, we, along with Sam, we as a player, didn't know that there was some hidden sinister agenda that the UCA had, right? That Die Hardman had underneath it all to reconnect America, right? They made it seem like we were doing it for the reason of bettering humanity and getting everyone together again and making society whole again. But what if there was some sinister underlining reason that they weren't telling us about? And this game's going to go into that, and we're going to see the consequences and then find out exactly what they are. And we're going to question, should we have connected? And it's not going to be entirely uplifting. And the last game was very sad too, and melancholic and very poignant, but I describe it as a sad game with a lot of touches of uplifting, good vibes, and happiness sprinkled throughout that gave you hope, right? Hope is a good way to describe it. But I think the direction they're trying to go with this one is, first and foremost, it is the happy game you ended with, an uplifting game you ended with, but there are many, 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 many sprinkles of darkness and despair and tragedy embedded throughout it, all of it. And that's kind of the tone they want to go for. But my God, I can't wait. And was there a release date at any point? I don't think there was. I need a release date. I need a release date. DS2. And that's the most interesting thing, right? Is they're calling it a working title. Like, this is not the confirmed title for Death Stranding 2. But dude, only Kojima can have the balls to unveil something at the Game Awards that is massive, right? A sequel to a big game. And call it Death Stranding 2, but go, it might not be called Death Stranding 2, but it's Death Stranding 2. Here you go. I love it, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. What an insane year this has been. Just chock full of stuff that I have been really, really unbelievably excited for. And I'm so happy about that. Like, what a great time to be alive. Hey everyone, Futurati here. I just wanted to do a quick follow-up to that analysis I just did of the Death Stranding 2 launch trailer. Now, the analysis you just saw was during the live Game Awards event, which went on for 3.5 hours. And by the end of it, I went back and did that frame-by-frame analysis that you just saw of the Death Stranding 2 trailer. And you can probably imagine that by the end of that Game Awards event, which was again 3.5 hours, my brain was pretty damn zapped. So I probably wasn't picking up on a lot of things here and there. And looking back on what I just edited now for you guys, it seemed like there were many things that I just picked up on today after sleeping on the trailer and watching it many more times today that I didn't pick up on when I initially watched it last night on stream. So I thought we'd go back through some of the moments in this trailer and I'd point out a couple of new things that I noticed that I kind of came up with, and a couple of things that I noticed some of the lovely folks who are having all these amazing discussions about the Death Stranding 2 trailer in my comment sections did, which, by the way, thank you guys so much for checking out that reaction to the trailer. It blew up for my channel, right? It's crazy, like 500 views in less than 24 hours. That is insane, and it just made me so happy to see all the comments and all you guys discussing something that I love so much. So keep them coming. I'd love to carry on this conversation. And so yeah, we're just gonna go back to that trailer and look at a couple of moments here and there, just so I can point out things that I just thought of today that I might not have pointed out in the analysis you just saw, which was my live reaction from last night. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing that I want to point out here, which, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I missed this when I saw the trailer initially yesterday, because I think I was just so hyped. This is literally Amelie, right? This has to be Amelie. This little statue here, the extinction entity from the first game that caused the Death Stranding. And these folks here have got to be a part of that cult, right? I think that this is a group of people, a group of cultists who worship Amelie in some way, right? They're trying to bring back an extinction entity or cause the Death Stranding to happen again. I don't know what their agenda is, but that seems pretty likely, right? They're carrying these statues, or I'm sorry, poles, which have the Amelie statue at the top of them, which is crazy. I never clued into that when I saw the trailer yesterday. So that's something big here. And now we're gonna go on to this next part. So this was another big thing for me, right? The fact that Fragile, my mind was blown this morning when I realized, I was like, holy shit, I watched the trailer 2 or 3 more times. And I went, I can't believe I didn't realize this yesterday, but Fragile looks completely normal, right? And if you remember from the first game, the entirety of her body from neck down was all old and wrinkly as a result of Higgs forcing her to go through the timefall rain. But now she's totally normal here, which leads me to question whether or not this scene here is actually happening after the events of Death Stranding 1, or if it's a flashback of some kind that's set before the events of Death Stranding 1. And the only thing that sort of makes me go, no, it can be a flashback, is because we see Lou here. And I saw someone point out before I started this recording, because I've been going through the Death Stranding subreddit like crazy, seeing people's discussions and stuff, that somewhere in this trailer, this is confirmed to be Lou or Louise, specifically because you can actually see she has a name tag somewhere. I can't remember where it is here, but there's a screenshot online. I'll link it if I can on the subreddit of Death Stranding, which has a name tag saying Louise. So it's pretty much confirmed this is Lou, right? This is the BB from the first game. But somehow we see a normal Fragile here. And there are a couple of possibilities, right? It could be that this is, number one, it could be a flashback. Number two, it could be a dream of some kind, right? Where Fragile's thoughts of Lou are mingling with her past, right? And it's all happening in the form of a dream here. Or number three, that because the Death Stranding ended in the first game, the effects of Timefall have completely worn off, so Fragile doesn't look old anymore. Maybe the effects gradually wear off over time, who knows, right? Some crazy stuff here I'm just now picking up on. So let's go to the next thing after this. Okay guys, so the next thing I think I erroneously pointed out yesterday was that drawbridges here are the same guys we see at the beginning carrying these Amelie statues. I do not think that's the case at all. I think I was completely wrong about that. I apologize. I got caught up in the hype and I just couldn't think straight, right? Drawbridges seems to be Fragile's new organization, right? We see this appear again on the at the end of the trailer on this huge barge thing that seems to be coming out of the water, which to me implies that we're going to be able to traverse water in the sequel and make deliveries that way, which is going to be pretty freaking awesome if that's the case. But more specifically, because Fragile has this line right here, which is a dead giveaway that these are the good guys, that I didn't catch on to yesterday. I apologize.
Come meet my crew, Sam.
She says, come meet my crew, Sam. And then this barge comes on out of the water. And you see the, whatchamacallit, drawbridges sign somewhere on there. I think it's, yep, right there. which is crazy, right? This is just Fragile's new organization. These are the good guys. Can't wait to board that thing, do deliveries, do crazy stuff like that. I'm just imagining the gameplay right now. Another thing I wanted to point out, guys, is the whole deal with Sam, right? This has got everyone's brains itching because what's going on here? Is Sam actually going gray because of the timefall? Which, how can that be the case? Because the timefall ended at the end of Death Stranding 1, right? With the end of the Death Stranding. So how could that be happening, right? Or is it just him going gray as a result of stress? Like, what is going on here? It's super confusing. And I was really confused too. But a fellow in the comment section of my reaction video pointed out something really, really interesting, which I'm inclined to agree with and I think is a really cool theory. And it's the fact that this could very well be happening way, way, way after what we see at the beginning of the trailer here with Louise and Fragile, right? There may be another time skip where Lou is even older and that she turns out to be the character who's played here by Ellie Fanning, or Elle Fanning. I apologize, I'm not sure how to pronounce the first name. It could be possible that she's played by Ellie Fanning here, and that's who that character is going to be. And maybe when Lou is older and being played by Elle Fanning, that's when we're going to be seeing this part of the game's timeline, right? And it's been a long time, and that's why Sam's looking the way he should. Because one thing I was wondering is, how is he going to, how does he look so gray if it's only been like 2 or 3 years? Because Lou only looks like 2 or 3 years old in this, in the beginning of this trailer. So how could that be possible, right? That's what I was wondering. So no, I think this is a much bigger time skip. Sam's definitely got some grayness going on here, and that we're gonna maybe go and have to save Lou, or Lou's been taken or something like that. Whatever the case may be, I definitely get the vibe that these cultists are after Lou, right? There's something special about Lou, like she has that similar uniqueness to her in that she is a baby who was taken outside of the pod and grew up with a healthy life, just like Sam did, right? He was taken out of the pod as part of his story as well. He was also a baby originally, so there could be something special about her, right, that these cultists want. And maybe she gets taken and maybe we have to go and save her, right? So really, really crazy stuff to think about there, and I can't wait to see where they go with all of this. And then the last bit here with these dudes, right, who I think we can now establish are the cultists who are worshipping Amelie, are, yeah, like they're Amelie worshippers, right? Because I don't need, guys, I don't know how I didn't clue into this yesterday when watching the trailer, but this is literally a guy cosplaying as Amelie, right? He's got the same kind of hair. He's got the red theme going on. They're all in red, and I apologize for the low resolution of this trailer. I just pulled up a random one. It doesn't seem like they have 1080p, but you guys can kind of tell, right, that they're all in red. They've got the golden locks, and this has got to be Higgs, right? This has to be Higgs right here. And they're back, and they're worshipping Amelie, which tells me that they're probably trying to get another Death Stranding to happen. So yeah, these are just a few of the things that I realized today upon watching this trailer many, many, many more times today, because I'm obsessed and I can't wait for this game. And also scouring the subreddit, seeing what people are saying there, and also seeing the discussions in my own comments section of my reaction video, and formulating my own thoughts on what's happening in this game. So yeah, I think that in the next game, these are going to be the main villains, right? These cultists, these Amelie worshippers, the Death Stranding worshippers, I guess you could call them, people who want the event to come back. Kind of like in the first game, you had mules and terrorists who didn't want America to get reconnected. So these guys are kind of similar in a way, right? They don't just not want America to be connected. They literally want the apocalypse that forced them to become disconnected to happen again, which is crazy. And I think that drawbridges here, let me pull that up again, are the good guys. These are definitely the good guys. Both stick and rope to protect and connect together for tomorrow. That's us. That's who we're going to be helping. That's basically Fragile. So that's about it, guys. These are the immediate thoughts that came to me today that weren't there yesterday when I was reacting to this, or aka the first part of this analysis video you're going to see on YouTube. So this is me just coming on here to give you guys my updated thoughts before I end things here. But yeah, guys, the possibilities are just limitless. I cannot wait to see what happens, right? My mind is racing with theories, and I'm going to keep you guys updated as soon as we get more information, as soon as we get more trailers, that kind of thing. So yeah, if anything else comes up, if I notice more little Easter eggs here and there, definitely going to make more videos about those. Going to keep you guys posted on Twitter and stuff like that. So if you want to see more Death Stranding updates, or Death Stranding 2 trailer updates, analyses, that kind of stuff, or news on the game, definitely subscribe, as I'm going to be covering all of that and more. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Again, thank you so much for joining me in these crazy events, and also for the outpour of love and just overall camaraderie, right? It's so cool to come together with fellow Death Stranding fans and get hyped for this second game that's coming out in my reaction video that I posted yesterday. Really appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Keep on keeping on.